Hi everyone, my name is Simon O'Brien and welcome to another Death Battle prediction video. It's going to be Prince Zuko from Avatar The Last Airbender versus Shoto Todoroki from My Hero Academia. Now, I gotta be honest here, this is actually a fight I really enjoyed researching, and I also really enjoyed both Avatar and My Hero Academia. In my honest opinion, I prefer My Hero Academia more because I'm more into superheroes, but no, both series are really good. It's all about personal preference here, so there's that. But that's not going to affect the outcome of who I think is going to win, though. So, yeah, I'm going to go for the stats and the abilities, because the abilities here are really important here. And finally, who I personally think is going to win. Now, for strength, now this is actually more or less a tie, because both Zuko and Todoroki are not really known for actually having really high physical strength capabilities. It's mainly how they control their power, which is what I'll get into later on. So there's that. But they are still fairly superhuman, and at least Todoroki can somehow like break through some of his ice if he needs to, although he does have special abilities to do that as well. So there's that. Whereas Zuko is also known for breaking through stone walls if he needed to. So there's that. So there you go. So yeah, mind you, I have not read all of the Avatar comics though, so I've seen a bit of it though, but yeah, there's that. And some of my friends have helped me out with it, so yeah, I'll go with that for now. So there's that. Now, as for speed, speed is actually really interesting here. I would probably say Zuko is slightly faster than Todoroki, because he has a lot of upscaling against characters like Katara and Aang, and Aang is massively hypersonic to above lightning level in my opinion. So I'm reasonable to assume that Zuko is probably slightly faster than Todoroki, whereas Todoroki, he doesn't really do a lot of speed feats, although the only best speed feat I can think of from him is like coming third or second place at the sports festival against Bakugo and Deku, and that's pretty good because both of those guys are actually pretty fast, although Deku's kind of won it because of some trickery and all that. But yeah, fair and square wise, I say Todoroki's pretty fast, so I'd probably put him about massively hypersonic. Just I think Zuko has more consistently better speed feats in my opinion, so there's that. Now we go into durability. Now, this is another one of those cases where I think durability matters here, because in terms of raw durability, like raw power, I have to say Todoroki has this in the bag. I mean, like, he takes in some blasts from Bakugo, and Bakugo can make like a 500 kiloton blast that is like comparable to city block level with just a casual blast. Now, people want Bakugo to fight Yang, and no thanks. No thank you. So yeah, that feat alone surpasses anything that Yang can do, so there's that. But anyways, back to this matchup. Todoroki has other durability feats, like he probably does scale to his father Endeavor, who can take Nomu attacks and all that, and Nomu are almost equal to All Might in terms of strength, in my opinion. So there's that, and also they can nullify strength and all that. But yeah, another thing about Todoroki though, he can also increase his defenses with his ice, like durability wise, he can be much tougher with ice and all that. Well, now, as for Zuko, interestingly enough, he can manipulate and bend fire, because he is a firebender, but unfortunately, he's not immune to fire. He's not Natsu, or he's not even, like, say, other characters who are immune to fire that can emit their own fire. Neither is Todoroki. He's not even immune to fire at all, but so that comes into a bit of an interesting factor here, because another thing that is worth mentioning for Todoroki, though, that Zuko can exploit is like piercing attacks, because Todoroki can be harmed by knives and all that. I mean, like, it's like Wonder Woman, like he has weaknesses to something that's below him, like piercing strikes, but he's actually able to tank like 500 kilotons worth of force. So yeah, very, very interesting durability case for Todoroki. So yeah, I do think it's more or less Todoroki with the durability edge, although Zuko does have a way to bypass it with his own swords, which I'll get into now. So, abilities and weapons. I'll just go for weapons for Zuko here. So yeah, Zuko has his swords, and now they're really awesome, I have to admit, and he can make them imbued with fire, or even fire swords entirely. And I say that Zuko is very well trained with it because he has done it all his life and all that. So yes, I'll give him the skill edge here because Zuko has more experience than Todoroki, and we've seen that Avatar has more, in my opinion, more feats than My Hero Academia in some ways. So there's that. Whereas Todoroki's weapons, he doesn't really have any weapons. It's mainly his quirk, which is half cold, half hot. And I'll get into that now because that's basically it for weapons. So for abilities, I'll start with Todoroki. Like I said before, he has half cold, half hot. And it's a quirk that allows him to manipulate both ice and fire. Now, Todoroki used to have some sort of mental instability to actually not use his fire because he didn't want to be like his father. That's a bit of background there. But now, he's fully mastered it, and I say that he can use both ice and fire instantly now, like just a flick of a switch. So that's good. So there you go. So using Todoroki's maximum potential, he has to use his fire and all of that. So yeah. And with his ice, I'll go with his ice first. He can make ice pillars with his feet, like he does it like Glacier style from Killer Instinct. But there is one feat that there are two feats he did actually. There's one that he did at the sports festival that's like calculated to be around the kiloton range and all that. And it's like the size of bigger than the stadium. So the stadium size is almost comparable to that of the Olympics, in my opinion. And yeah, that's pretty huge. That's around city block to almost small town level at least. But he does have a better feat in season 3 when Todoroki created a mountain-sized ice shard. And yeah, that is huge. Like absolutely big. In my opinion, that is the more impressive feat than the sports festival feat. But yeah, still, Todoroki with his ice packs all power of a town, really, if he needed to. So there's that. And with ice as well, he can actually surf on his ice, which is really cool, like Frozone and Style and all that. So yeah, pretty awesome stuff. And with his fire now we'll go into fire, Todoroki can also use his fire for really powerful blasts, like Fire Blast, and a tsunami made out of fire and all that with his feet. And yeah, really powerful, this tsunami and all that. Managed to block out, I believe, like a factory and all that. But yeah, it's really huge though. Never underestimate Todoroki's power here, guys. So there's that. And All Might actually said in the manga that Todoroki's fire or in power is actually equal to Endeavor. So that's perfect scaling right there. And Endeavor did a feat that he actually split the clouds into the sky by fighting the Nomu. And I think that was a Nomu fight, but whatever. But yes, he split the clouds, and that is around the Megaton range. So if Death Battle actually included that feat and applied the scaling to Todoroki, he definitely crushes Zuko in the power department. So yes. And that is even including Zuko's firebending techniques and all that. Zuko can use his feet and hands for fire attacks and all, but I have never seen him try and control fire that is like around the megaton range and all that. I mean, he can melt some of Todoroki's ice, but against fire and all that, he can bend some of Todoroki's fire. But I honestly don't think that the power output of Todoroki is going to be easy for Zuko to bend anyway. So yeah, this is actually more or less like a win for Todoroki in my opinion. And you might bring up the Sozin's Comet stuff, like the power of 1,000 suns, and that's actually a figure of speech. But the thing about the Sozin's Comet thing though is like I'm getting a bit of a iffy thing here because it's actually like a once in occurrence after like a couple of months, I believe. And yeah, for Zuko to have it, it's kind of it does actually deny his maximum potential if he does not get it. And if he does, he still has not done anything that's like around the megaton range at all. So yeah, even with the Sozin's Comet stuff, I still think Todoroki has the power output to bypass the threshold that Zuko can control. So there's that. And of course, Todoroki has this move called the Flash Freeze Heat Wave, which he actually creates some ice, right, and he evaporates it with his fire, and then he unleashes a huge blast that is actually able to destroy concrete into a little bit of pieces and all that. Even overpowered Deku at that fight. So yeah, pretty devastating stuff. That's basically like Todoroki's best ability, in my opinion. And it's actually more amplified than his normal power. So yeah, pretty powerful stuff in my opinion. So, in the end, who I think is going to win? Now, in my honest opinion, this is actually a pretty good fight. I might have to lean towards Todoroki here, although it's not particularly a stomp. It's just that he has the durability, the power, and the versatility, and yeah, that's basically all I can say about this matchup here. Where Zuko has the speed and skill and experience, but he doesn't have the power output or the power defense to actually overpower or even bend Todoroki's fire at all. And with regards to the ice stuff, I don't think Zuko can melt most of, if not all of the ice, because that's the same ice that can actually, hold place a lot of people and all that. And Bakugo also had trouble breaking some of his ice in some stages anyway, and Bakugo does 500 kilotons worth of power casually, so yeah. And kilotons of power, can Zuko match it at least? Well, in my honest opinion, probably not. I think this is it, really, guys. I'm gonna have to lean towards Shoto Todoroki for the win here, but I won't be surprised if Zuko wins, because, like I said, I only got the knowledge of Avatar stuff from what I've got from my friends. I've seen the whole show now, and I gotta be honest, it's a really good show, guys. Avatar The Last Airbender is really awesome, and yeah. And yeah, that's basically it, guys. I'm just gonna go for Shoto Todoroki for the win. So, yeah, thank you guys for watching this video.